700 mugs stolen from University campus branch of Starbucks, a theft of almost £3,000. TV licensing company adverts classed as bully boy tactics. Union says, we won't take this from them. Not Surrey, not this time, never. Are you a first year student looking to organise housing next year? Use M.A.D.TV's top 5 tips to make it easier. Hi there and welcome to the University of Surrey Student News, the news programme which takes the news, rips off all its clothes and lays the facts bare for you to see, which is not the same as bare facts. I'm Mike Fraser. And I'm Matt Goodwin. And we are University of Surrey Student News. Here at the News we try and provide useful information and news to students at the University of Surrey. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to provide news stories which are informative, relevant and comical for you to enjoy. And now over to Mike for our first ever news story, with his top 5 tips on student housing.
Thanks, Matt. Currently, thousands of students across the country are jousting for student housing. They are quite literally fighting each other to the death to find the ideal house. We have developed our top 5 tips for those interested in renting accommodation in an easy, secluded, faster, simpler, safer, smoother, protected and death-free way.
Tip number 1. Decide who you want to live with next year.
Think about what they would be like 24 hours a day. As a group, discuss what it is you are looking for.
If someone wants a tent,
replace them. Think about the price and remember to take bills into account like gas, water and electricity. Make sure you live in the right location and bear in mind the local shops, transport links and the pub.
Tip number 2. How to find your perfect home.
The Surrey Accommodation Office's Student Pad service is the best first port of call. The university managed houses list will be available from the 23rd of February and the recommended private housing list will be available on the 2nd of March. To use Student Pad, a password will be issued 1 week before the lists are publicised. It may also be possible to find cheap housing through other online property management companies, however these can often be more expensive.
Tip number 3. Visit the house and inspect with a critical view.
It is vital to make sure that you take note of any problems or issues. If there is a second floor, are there any stairs?
Are the walls made of fabric?
Remember that you get what you pay for.
Tip number 4. Negotiate.
Landlords should be willing to negotiate. If there are any problems, ask to have them fixed. Get the staircase built. Try to negotiate in a fair way for both sides and try to avoid swearing, sharp objects and syphilis. Try to get promises in writing, just in case the landlord is a difficult person.
Tip number 5. Only sign on the dotted line when you're comfortable.
Remember that you can always back away from the deal before things are signed. If you are confused about anything, seek advice from other people, family, friends or lovers. Know what you are paying for and have it clearly agreed between you, your friends and the landlord. We hope that you find these tips useful and remember that you can always seek advice from the University Accommodation Office. Now we go to Matt outside Starbucks. Over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Mike. You join me here outside Starbucks on campus, who have been here since January 2008. Since then, they've had well over 700 mugs stolen, which is the equivalent of more than 60 mugs a month. I'm here to try and get some more infocino on this and find out what's really going on. Well, other than some damn good coffee, here's what else I found. Apparently, Starbucks' policy is that all coffee served and drunk inside Starbucks has to be served in a mug. However, due to the thefts of said mug, there is a possibility that this policy can be changed and all coffee will be served in cardboard cups. Who knows? Watch this space. As you can see, the thefts of these mugs has cost Starbucks dearly. If we were to pay money for these mugs, we would be paying well over £3,500. I can safely say that no one in the studio has ever stolen a Starbucks mug. And, at the risk of causing a new rush to Starbucks, they also do a lovely plate, which makes a tasty set. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Our top story might be of particular interest to those of you with a television, whether you have a licence or not.
And to those of you without a television, well, if you buy one in the near future, then this one's for you.
TV licensing started back in 1946 for the modest price of £2, which is around £56 in today's money. Nowadays it costs a whopping great £139.50. A TV licence is needed to legally receive any publicly broadcast TV channels. The money from the licence fee is used to provide radio, television and internet for the BBC. The firm TV licensing are employed by the government to make sure that we all have a TV licence if we are watching television. For those Chinese regulars among you, chances are you are familiar with their
"We love your excuses, we use them as evidence"
adverts. Now, many students feel that the tone of TV licensing advertising has become quite sinister. Some have gone as far as accusing TV licensing of adopting bully boy tactics to scare students into buying a TV licence. The next advertising campaign is said to use text messaging and flyers so they can reach and intimidate more vulnerable students. Last week we had the pleasure of interviewing the Vice President for Societies, Jack Simmons, who told us all about this. Hi there, Jack. Firstly, thank you very much for coming to talk to us today. Could you please tell me a little bit more about these TV licensing shenanigans and this so-called back down campaign?
Of course I can. Students have finally had enough of TV licensing. We're running a campaign this year, the Back Down campaign, that focuses on the pricing inconsistencies between residential homes, that's ARCs, accommodation for residential care, hotels, family houses and halls of residence. There's a lot of kind of blurry lines and inconsistencies between them. So that's something we're focusing on. But also the advertising that they've been throwing students' way for a long time now, sort of scaring them in order to sell their TV licensing. Sure. NUS do need to be quite proactive about this. I think it's the kind of thing that the BBC, the government and TV licensing as a group are used to deflecting.
Sure.
Not anymore.
Well said. I wish you the best of luck with your campaign. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to us today. It's been a pleasure to have you.
To make your opinions heard on this story, please email them to mad_tv@live.co.uk with the subject TV licensing.
And now we come to the weather with Josephine Chard. Jo, what have you got for us?
Well guys, all I can really tell you is that there may be some moisture in the air. But depending on how much the sun shines, this may evaporate and then it won't rain. But at the same time, if it gets cold, then this moisture may turn into hail or snow, which could really lead to who knows what. With a high yet low pressure front currently covering most of the south of England, the end product could be a mixture of all sorts, really. Looking forward to tonight. If the cloud stays away, then we should get a wonderfully clear sky and should be able to see both lots of the moon and the stars. But if the cloud stays, then I can't promise anything. There may also be some southerly-northerly winds with easterly-westerly, gustily breezes. Back to you guys.
Wow. Thanks, Jo. Informative as usual. Mike?
Well, I see the Met Office are living up to their usual standards.
Absolutely, but I guess that's the safest thing for a weather reporter. Short and sweet.
And ginger, but I guess you get what you pay for.
You have been watching University of Surrey Student News. He's been Mike Fraser.
He's been Matt Goodwin.
Goodbye.
That was University News on MAD TV. If you would like to contact MAD TV, get involved with the news, or have a news story you would like us to report, then email us on mad_tv@live.co.uk.